to the president. So it has English under subtitles, I hope. Claro, no tenemos, we don't have audio.
There is.
You have to read the subtitle.
To read his
audio.
Read. ¿Le ha parecido a usted profundamente antidemocrático que nos acerquemos a sus señorías con asambleas y pegatinas para mostrarles una realidad que están ignorando?
Nosotros también tenemos hijos.
Quizás nos escuche más si nos dirigimos a usted.
De la misma forma que nos habla últimamente.
A nosotros, ciudadanos y ciudadanas.
Nos parece profundamente antidemocrático que comparezca a través de la pantalla sin responder a las preguntas de los medios.
Que incumpla punto por punto su programa electoral, punto por punto. ¿Por qué cree que la gente le votó? No sabemos si ha recibido sobres de su partido, pero sí sabemos que los ciudadanos no le dimos un cheque en blanco.
Antidemocrático es
Gobernar con reales decretos, sin diálogo.
Esconderse ante la corrupción como se esconde.
Proteger los intereses de una banca acosadora. Y llamarnos acosadoras a sus víctimas. Más del 80% de la población apoya. Apoya nuestras propuestas.
¿Para quién gobierna usted, señor Rajoy? Las políticas del PP, del PSOE y los desmanes de la banca
Han arruinado al país.
Nos han arruinado.
pagaremos su fiesta durante años.
Con nuestra sanidad,
Nuestra educación,
Nuestras pensiones.
nuestras viviendas, hipotecando el futuro de todos, de un país entero, para salvar a los culpables del desastre.
Queremos justicia.
Y exigirle es, mire usted, profundamente democrático. No podemos permitir más desahucios ilegales, más familias en la calle endeudadas de por vida. No vamos a permitir más víctimas. Estamos haciendo lo que tenemos que hacer.
Estamos remando juntos, pero sin echar a nadie por la borda. Señor Rajoy,
¿quiere usted pasar a la historia como el presidente que no paró los desahucios?
¿a quién cree que llamarán antisistema a nuestros nietos?
Si de verdad quiere buscar soluciones,
Soluciones reales.
aquí nos tendrá abiertos al diálogo. Si no, nos tendrá enfrente, defendiendo a las personas, a las familias y luchando por una democracia que sea de verdad, profundamente democrática.
So I wanted, I've got a question.
So we have a homepage which says like so many evictions stopped by us nationally.
It has to be actualized, but yes. I wanted to show this video and talk about this campaign, not because, well, it was an important campaign, but also because I think it's related to what Charlie was saying before, this lack of democracy and this kind of people not believing in institutions and in the political parties and so on. So in order to show also like this distance that is between the parties and what social demands are also related to basic needs like housing, because like we understand that housing right is related to other house like health and have like an adequate life. So in this webpage, so here's where you have like these numbers you were asking for. Like we have stuff. Well, what we have count 725 evictions that we have count.
How many?
725. So we think there are more, but because all the not all the platforms are used to give the information to the rest of the movement and so on. And also there is another campaign which consists in occupy houses from banks in order to force the banks to give a social rent. So if you evict me from my house, and well, there are people that think that achieve to give the keys, have no debt, but after you give the keys, you have no house. Like you have no debt, but you also have no house, and also people that have been evicted. And there's like this this campaign which is called Obra Social La Paz, that is when people have asked the city council well, have like expired all the ways that they had to get to a house after giving the keys or after being evicted, and they do not have the right to a house, then we started this campaign, which consists in occupied houses that belongs to banks, in order to force the bank to give a social rent. And actually, there are 634 persons that are in occupied houses by this campaign.
So you were able to convince some banks to
Yeah, actually-
rent it in a lower price. And so
Well,
on.
we just have one victory in this campaign. Well, like there are two parts. One is like the collective occupation, when we take like a whole building. And in this case, we just have one victory where the bank like gave social rents to 11 families.
Okay.
And there are like the individual way, that means that you enter to your ex house and then you force the bank to negotiate some social rent, and there are more victories, are more cases where the bank accept to give social rent.
I have a question, because you mentioned about image of the, like, you think the banks are concerned about their image, and I was thinking that do you have some kind of like an honor roll of the bank, like if this bank cooperated with you, then you
No.
like say, okay, this bank, so
No,
maybe that would be like
with
a
the
positive.
idea, no, well, not only with the idea, but because what we experience really is that everything that the bank have done for housing rights is because we, well, or the movement forced them to do that.
And,
I mean, like this action of BB. Well, meanwhile all this happened, a lot of banks were rescued in Spain for more than 40,000 million euros. So about this social legitimation, I think it's also in the clima of the 15M movement that they have to have some kind of social contrapartida, chicos. Contrapart. Me inventa la palabra. So, and they do not have any. So it's like, okay, we gave 40,000 million to the bank.
Okay.
They are victim people. They're making that a lot of people go to the street. So there's a kind, and I think also, well, there's also this 15M movement like generates an atmosphere where it was easier to focus on this kind of unfair situation. Well, unfair violation of human rights that I do. So, for example, this action that I was showing before of BBVA, which is one of the health banks. BBVA at the beginning didn't want to
health or health?
healthy.
Healthy.
It means that they have not been rescued and that they are
healthy.
they didn't want to sign this dación en pago, this giving the keys, and they didn't want to sign any social rents. So after a lot of actions, they are signing now social rents and they're signing this dación en pago, but just after the actions, not before. They really, they said, oh,
Because
we
of
have
good
to be
hearts.
humanitarian
Yeah.
and we will like respect human rights because we had like an illumination. It was not like that. So, and really with all the banks, it happened more or less like this. So I come back to what we do, okay? So it's interesting. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you have any question? Do you want me to dance?
Yeah.
Vale, you were listening. So, okay, the platform started in Barcelona, it's spread mostly in Catalonia, where it's like the region that is more affected by evictions, and also like Valencia, Andalusia, and so on, and now a 170 platform. So there are this kind, I mean, in Catalonia it's like where it's more faster, or where movements start to make experience that after it shares with the rest of the movement, well, it's like without, I'm simplifying a lot, but so what we do is like, okay, when we make these collective advisors, if you have a trade court, we go to speak to the judge, we speak to the lawyer from the other part, we speak to the city council, And meanwhile, we try to negotiate with the bank. The idea is always in trying to negotiate with the bank in order to achieve a point that we
Can I ask
want.
something? When you negotiate with the bank, what do? You do like some, like 10 people have the same problem with one bank. Then we negotiate with
No, I will come
Okay.
to it. So, so this, here is like these documents that I told you before that we explained this collective advisory, documents in order that you can download them and bring them to the bank in order to say you want to negotiate that and that, or to the court, anywhere, so that everyone can. It has like 80,000 visits a month. This part of the website, more or less, sometimes more. So it's really something that people use a lot. So what you do is like you always increase confrontation when it's needed, but not before. It means at the beginning you go to the bank and you say, okay, I cannot pay, or I will not be able to pay next month, so I want to sign this dación en pago, this giving the key, and you bring a document in order to make this. So normally the bank doesn't accept the document, not agree with it, but accept taking the document. So you go once, you go twice, you go 3 times, and if after 6 times they don't want to accept the paper, so that you have asked for that, not saying you will become that, just ask for that, then in this collective advisory you explain that, and then we make like an individual action in order to force the bank to take the paper, something like this. And also like, and after, like, it's always like this, you ask the bank to have a meeting in order to talk about the situation and to negotiate a solution and so on. And this is like the individual way, which is always made with the rest of the platform, like the actions I'm making with the rest of the platform. And what we started to make like 8 months ago, something like that, it was like all the platforms from Catalonia, we started to make like collective negotiations. It means like we detect most affected people in Catalonia were from Catalunya Caixa, which is a bank that also has become 2,000 million euros from the public government. So we make an action, all the platforms together, and we said, okay, we will not move from your central office if you don't accept 2 stop evictions, 2 stop auctions, and to give us a poker person that has the capacity to decide if he can like accept the dación en pago and other social rents and so on. So after that, like all the platforms coordinate in order to deal with this person about the different situations of all the people affected from the platform. So, and now I think there are like 10 or 11 groups from collective negotiations from different banks. So, but there are banks that do not have a collective negotiation because there are like 3 persons affected in all Catalonia, because it's really a grassroots movement and we do not achieve. We have to sleep sometimes, not always, but sometimes. So we don't have the time to make a collective negotiation with all the banks. So normally it's like you have the collective negotiation, and also it depends on how the negotiation is going. Some individual actions are accepted, and in other cases they are not accepted. I mean, it's like if you say, okay, we will give 1 month to the bank in order to solve all these cases, and during this month we won't make any kind of action, not collective, not individual actions, in order to give them the time to think about it, well, to deal with the situation, and after 1 month we will decide if we continue making actions or not. It's more or less. This is one of the things that we make, this kind, well, and it's like a central part, this collective negotiations and negotiations with banks. The other campaign was this one I was talking about, La Obra Social, this occupying building. Also because like the general campaign we had until this February, this March, was this popular legislative initiative, this collecting signatures, which gave the people the opportunity to say, I agree with you, I feel that I'm joining your movement, but also it was like an umbrella in order for all the movement to say, okay, this is our general demands, but now they didn't accept them. So they didn't accept them, so we think it's more legitimated this occupying campaign. No, it's like, okay, we have tried to change the law and to make that housing right is a right. You didn't accept it, so we are forced to to look after our human rights by ourselves, and we do it in the houses that we think that belong to us, because these banks have been rescued with public money. So this is like what we, and also like it depends also very much on the context and on the place the platforms are. But for example, there are some platforms that are starting to make like a mutual help, like exchange food or exchange like different basic needs. So I wanted to show, I don't know if the map is working, but so that you have an idea of where platforms are. Well, no, it's not working. So it's more, here's like where you can contact the platform. Do you have questions about?
Yes, the question was, so there was this proposal for a law with 3 points, and how did this story go on?
Claro, I didn't explain the. They didn't accept it. See, they are. They accept part of the proposals, but like very, not like we wanted them or like we think they had to be. Like they did not say, okay, we will stop evictions when is the only house you have, but we will stop evictions if it's the only house you have. You have children under 3 years. Your incomes are less than 60,000 euros per year. If someone in your family is like this, you know, it's like they accept some of the proposals, but not like we wanted them to be accepted, or like how we think they will really respect human rights if they will.
So it's a watered down version, or a really watered down version.
Yeah, what we say and actually what we believe is any government or any party that wants to go to election the next election time, they will have to accept these demands, because it's really like a social agreement that these demands have to be accepted like we explain them. Not because it's our demands, it's because they are really common sense and human rights respected. No. But in March they changed the law in this, like making little things changing for better, but not accepting the demands that we are asking for. Vale, Murdoch, ¿tú cómo lo ves?
Okay.
O sea, yo puedo meter 10 minutos más de alguna idea más, pero es que me estoy enrollando mucho.
How much time do you have?
Don't have much time left, so